All right, hello everyone. Different setup again. My apologies also. I was just doing some Tai Chi and I did not obviously put the mat back up. So let me pour myself a cup of tea before I begin. Then we're going to get into a reading. I'm using a different camera because I did screw up. Okay, I'm not the most techie person, and I was not thinking, I'll be honest, and I went and I took the SD card out of one of the cameras. When I did that, I'm uploading those videos onto my computer right now to edit. And then as that's happening, I'm like, I should film some more because I've been filming other content for my other channel and I haven't been filming for this channel. And then I went, and then as my camera was like, no SD card, and I was like, right, I need to do a different camera. So here we are. Hopefully this turns out. We're gonna see. Thank you all for coming, for watching. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much for returning. I really, really do appreciate that. So, really quick, my name is Kata and I do a very quick prayer and then I get into it. It's that simple. So, without further ado, we're going to do the prayer. And also I'm going to apologize because I'm not sure if the audio's clipping in this or not. So I'm going to apologize if the audio is not 100% in this video. And if it is, ignore that apology. Anyways, I ramble. Let's go. Prayer. Okay. It's really funny because I actually heard someone say take a drink of tea as I have my teacup there. Where do I want to start? Actually, I want to oh, here it is. I want to start with this test deck. You've probably seen this deck in a few videos, and this is just a deck mock-up that I'm working on right now. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Sometimes I think it's really great, and sometimes I'm not sure. So I've modified it, and all that fun stuff. I will say the one downside is honestly these cards that I got, they don't shuffle that great. But we're just going to go with it. So, right out of the gate, stop taking advice from people who aren't where you want to be. It's holding you back. Very telling message right out of the gate. Also, I'll take this. Check those chakras, where's your aura, and live every day to the fullest. Stop wasting your life with worry, drama, and stress. Okay. Also, the bottom of the deck I was told to read. They will talk smack about you no matter what you do. Stop looking for external validation. People pleasing doesn't honor your spirit. Okay. Right out of the gate. Sorry. Let me move this. Right out of the gate, the thing that I'm getting from this particular collective is that this collective needs to just live. There's been kind of this over my past few videos. Here's what this has reminded me of. Over my past few videos, there's kind of been this whole thing. I don't know what to call it actually, this whole message that's kind of been progressing with a specific collective that's going to find my channel at some point. And that collective is a group of spiritual practitioners who have not had the easiest life. You've not had the easiest upbringing. You've not gone through easy things. You've had some really, really rough times. And you've probably been drawn to certain other readings that kind of bring that message through, because I've had a number of readings that bring this message through of a very intuitive collective that has had a really rough life, that is trying to change things and trying to pull themselves up by the bootstraps and trying to do things differently. And you guys have felt like you're struggling, like you've really been struggling with how to do that, how to go about taking those next steps, and feeling like you're stuck and feeling like you need to, you know, do these other things, and you're have these expectations placed on you. This, I feel like, is kind of in that same realm. So if you've been drawn to some of those past readings, this one will probably, you might be drawn to as well, because this has got that same type of feeling where, yeah, this collective is listening to the wrong, I don't even want to say they're listening to the wrong people. I think you genuinely know which people to listen to and what not to listen to. I think that there's an expectation, though, that because there's certain people within your life that hold a specific position in relation to you, there's this expectation that you should listen to whatever advice they give, and you should listen to what they have to say. And that's why this very first card came out, which I always look at the first card usually, depending on the reading, but in this reading I'm getting that vibe, as it's kind of setting the tone for the reading. And this one was, I'm going to repeat what's written here. Stop taking advice from people who aren't where you want to be. It's holding you back. That's kind of, that's the overarching message, is who are you listening to? For this collective, who is it that you're listening to? Who is it that you're paying attention to? That's not to say that those people that are giving advice are have bad intentions for you. That's not what I'm saying here. These people could have very good intentions. They could have very good thoughts. They could have they genuinely want to help you. However, if they are not living the life you want to live, if they are not doing things the way you want to do them, if they are not the vision that you have in your mind, in this collective, you do have a vision. Okay, you do have a goal, you do have a vision, you do have something in your mind that is, okay, this is what I'm going towards. This is what I'm trying to create for myself. This is my goal. My end goal is this destination. These people who are giving you advice, some of them probably do have, you know, negative energy behind it. I'm not going to lie. But I also think that it's important to distinguish between people who genuinely just don't care about you, which this collective has dealt with in the past. This collective has definitely had that problem in the past, but also understanding that there's people who they are genuinely trying to give you advice, and they genuinely do want to see you succeed, and they want to see you reach those goals and those dreams that you've got. But they are not in a position to really be giving you advice because they aren't where you want to be. And so there's a time and a place for everything, right? So if you're trying to start a business and you know someone who does business, then certain bits of advice you should probably listen to, right? Likewise, if you're starting a family and you have friends and family that have already had babies and are raising children, maybe there's bits of advice that you want from them if they're raising their children the way you want to raise your children. However, it's also important to distinguish that, okay, I want to have a child and I have this vision of how I want to raise my child. And even though that person has 3 kids, and even though I respect them, the way they raise their children is not the way I wish to raise my children, and thereby I'm not going to take their advice. Having that discernment of where it is that you want to be putting that energy into. What is it you want to do? Okay. And off of that, right, there's this message here. Again, I'm going to reread this particular card. Live every day to the fullest. Stop wasting your life with worry, drama, and stress. The journey is part of the destination. The journey is there to prepare you for that end goal you have. It's to provide you with the tools and everything you need so that you reach that end goal you want to reach. And there's this understanding and this energy that needs to come through of just live your life. Stop worrying about when things are going to happen and have faith that they will happen in the right time. Have faith that they're going to happen. Have faith that those things are going to come to fruition when they're supposed to come to fruition, the way that you want to see them laid out, the way that you want to see them come to fruition for, right? Now, obviously, we are all human and we have plans and we've got timelines and there's things that we want to do. And I understand and I respect that, because believe you me, I am in the exact same boat. And that's why we also then have this check your chakras, where is your aura? Right? Where are you putting your energy? What are you investing your energy in? Are you investing your energy into these people who do not have the life you want, who are not where you wish to be, who are not doing things the way you wish to do them? Or are you putting your energy into curating a lifestyle that you want, and curating a schedule that you want to the best of your ability? Let me give you an example, okay? I want to convert a van. It's been on my mind for 2 years now. I want to do a van conversion, and I want to do it myself because I have a very specific image of how I want the van to come to pass. Now, my partner is in the car industry, and so he has been on and off looking for vans for me, and I've given him a very specific list of what I want in the van. But because he's also a car person, he also has a specific list of things that he wants in the van for safety reasons, right? And also for legality reasons here in Canada. Lots of red tape. And he hasn't found it yet. It's been 2 years and he hasn't found it yet. And I am at a place where I'm getting quite impatient. So instead of waiting and saying, okay, I've been waiting for this van, what I started to do last year was, okay, if I had the van, what would I be doing? Well, I would be taking videos outside, which is largely what my other channel does, is me talking about esoteric things outside, okay? And I'll leave the link to that channel in the description box below if you're interested in that. I would talk about things outside. Okay, so I got to start filming outside. I would be out in the wilderness more. So last year I decided that I was going to go camping a lot, and I did go camping a lot with my dog, right? I wanted to have time to go fishing, right? If I had a van, I would make it a priority of mine to do fishing, okay? Specifically fly fishing, which is one of my favorite activities to do. So I would do more fly fishing. So last year I paid for fly fishing gear. I took a fly fishing lesson and I did a lot of fly fishing throughout the summer. Is it exactly where I want to be? Do I have the van? Have I converted it? No. But am I starting to put the energy into, okay, if I had the van, then I would be traveling around, and then I would be outside, and then I would be able to wake up at 4:30 in the morning when I want to wake up and be able to go fishing, and then come back and make something to eat outside and have a coffee, and then be able to take my dog out and do adventures and film it and try to put it on YouTube, and also do readings outside. That's something I'm going to work on more this year. Once the weather evens out a little bit, is doing more readings outside. That's part of this as well. And minimalizing my life, right? Minimizing my life and doing all that, right? And then still being able to do one-on-one, and still being able to do all these types of videos. It's not exactly where I want to be, right? I don't have the van, and I'm not doing the thing with the van that I want to do, and it's not converted the way I want it converted because I don't have the van in the first place. But I'm taking an action and focusing the energy in that direction. And when that van comes, and it will come, it'll be the right price, it'll be in the proper condition, it will have the proper papers behind it, and it will match the criteria that I personally have, and it will match the criteria that my partner, who is honestly the car guy, it's not me, that he has to ensure that I'm safe and that it's roadworthy and everything else. So where's that energy going? Where's your aura? What energy are you picking up? And is the energy that you're picking up that's sticking to your aura, is that energy helping you? Because if it's not, then you need to clear that out. You need to clear that out. You need to clear that out regularly. You need to clear that out on a consistent basis. Same with the chakras, right? Is the energy that's in your chakras, is that pure light directed with a goal and a purpose? Is it clear? Is it cleansed? Or is it dirty energy that's in there because you've picked up muck and other energy from other people? Which is it? Okay. Which of those realities is your reality as you're watching this? Okay. And I think that that's something that is basically the basis of this reading. It's basically the basis of this reading, right? Is where's your energy? Why are you listening to people who don't have the life that you want? Okay. And that's being with this last card that came up here, right? This one here, they will talk smack about you no matter what you do. Stop looking for external validation. People pleasing doesn't honor your spirit. That's really also kind of this first card about advice, this first message that I've been harping on about advice. That's kind of validating that message of there's going to be people who are always going to talk shit. Doesn't matter. You could be the most the most nicest person. There was a word there clearly that I was struggling to say. The most giving, nicest Mother Teresa person, and you know what? There's still going to be people that hate you. Okay? You're never ever going to please everyone. That's not going to happen. So stop trying to. And just live for you. And other people don't need to understand. Other people will not understand. Other people don't need to understand. Other people don't really care to understand, honestly. They don't really care to understand. They're so busy with themselves that they're not listening to you. They don't even understand a lot of what you're doing. Those people, they're not understanding what you're doing. They're not understanding what you're saying. They're not understanding why it's so important that you do things the way you want to do them. They don't get it, right? They honestly, they don't get it. And so stop trying to appease people who are determined to misunderstand you. Stop trying to appease people who are determined that they're never going to agree with you, or with your lifestyle, or with what you're doing, or with how you're doing things, or with how you're saying things, okay? All right, we have this beautiful card, Inner Child, coming through here. Fuchsia and Feldspar, Innocence and Self-Awareness. Okay. I really like that this card is coming up because I've mentioned before in previous readings, if you've been drawn to those, and if not, that's why I'm going to mention it here, about rough upbringing, right? And how a rough upbringing impacts the inner child in all of us. Okay, and that includes me as well, because I did not always have the easiest upbringing. There's certain things that I would never change, and there's many things that I would definitely change, as is the case with most of us in the world. And right here, this is about honoring your inner child. Honoring those, what was the thing that you wanted to do before people told you couldn't do it? What was that dream you had that you wanted to do before you were told by other people in your life, whether it was teachers, whether it was guardians, whether it was your parents, grandparents, friends, parents, whatever? What was that thing that you were told to do, or you were told you can't do, that you wanted to do? That's where you need to start. Okay, when you were a kid, what was your childhood dream? What was that thing you really wanted to do? Okay, that's what you wanted to do. You want to bring that whimsy back. Okay, bring that creativity back. I have a video on my other channel that hopefully will be posted by the time this reading comes out. Whoops. This is the one that wants to come out. And it's all about the lack of creativity in the world. like the lack of genuine creativity. And I'm not gonna harp on this too much in this reading because I'm gonna harp on it more in that video on my other channel. But and part of that has to do with AI, right? And that video is about my dislike of AI and why I don't think we should use AI. And part of my argument there is creativity, right? And that's really what the inner child reminded me of, is bringing that creative spark back, bringing that creativity back into your life, bringing that childlike wonder, right? And this is why, one of the reasons why I personally like to go outside, is because to me there's no easier way to bring back childlike wonder than to be out in nature and to be just amazed. Because I don't understand how you cannot be amazed when you're out in nature. I don't know how you can look at the frogs and the snakes and the water and the trees and everything and think that that's not amazing. Okay, and that's me personally, and that's more like my own personal story, but that's the whole thing I'm getting here. You know, here you've got the dragonflies, right? You've got, I don't even know what these are, probably fuchsia flowers, like the flowers that are coming out, right? But reconnecting to your spirit, reconnecting to your soul, and the easiest way to do that is to do the things that your inner child would want you to do. The things that brought you joy when you were a child. What were those things? And how can you use those now to create your dream life? Okay. We also have Dioptasi and Larkspur, past life healing, letting go of anger and forgiveness. I'm going to be real with you guys. I am not one of those readers who's going to tell you that you need to forgive people. I think that's horseshit, honestly. I think that one day I'll do a video on that as well. But the whole mentality of you need to forgive, you need to forgive, you need to forgive, and oh, you need to forgive for you, that's bullshit. Okay. And the reason I'm saying that for this collective in particular is because I feel like that this collective has had people in the past who have been like, you need to forgive so-and-so in your life. You should forgive them. Even if you don't trust them, and even you should forgive them for what they did and what they knew. And I would say that perhaps to an extent, but honestly, the level of hurt that this collective has gone through, I don't think that you should forgive. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but it's not that I don't think you should forgive. It's not that I think that if you did forgive that this reading isn't for you. It's that if you're struggling with forgiveness, you're not a bad person. You're not failing at spirituality because you're struggling with forgiveness. Okay? You're being human. Okay? And there's certain things that happen that I personally don't believe should be forgiven. And I don't forgive everyone. Okay? I don't let them hold power over me. I don't let that energy come back to me. I don't rehash that energy, but they're not forgiven for what they did because they've never shown any level of remorse for what they did. Right? And if someone's not showing remorse for their actions, why would you forgive them for their actions when they clearly do not give a damn? Okay. Past life healing. Also, some of you might have karmic contracts. Okay. That's also kind of coming through here, is this karmic contracts. I just keep hearing karmic contracts. There's a few people here who are in karmic contracts that needs to be healed. You would probably do well. Oh, what is this called? It's this shamanic thing. Oh my gosh. Soul retrievals. That's the term I'm looking for. A good portion of this collective would benefit from trying to do a soul retrieval, like seeking out someone to do a soul retrieval, someone reliable. I do soul retrievals for myself, but I don't offer them publicly for other people. But I'm going to see if I can think of some people, because I'm sure I follow some people who do soul retrievals publicly. I will link those people below as well, in case you are interested and you want to know what that's more about. But this collective, I think, would also benefit a lot from soul retrievals to help with their healing process. Moving meditation as well. Moving meditation. Maybe that's why I left the Tai Chi mat out, because Tai Chi is a form of moving meditation. Maybe that's why I accidentally left that out there. Moving meditation. Okay, so this could be like a walking meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga could be used as a moving meditation. but some sort of moving type of meditation would also probably be really beneficial for this collective, right? Something to help clear your mind and center your emotions, but that incorporates movement, because I don't think this collective will do good with just sitting in a spot and trying to do it. I think this collective would benefit more from having some level of movement involved in that as well. Okay. You also have New Might and Black Dahlia, The Void, Ego Shattering, Soul Fragments, and Empty. This is probably where a lot of this collective is right now, and that's why you're a little bit stuck. And I don't like to use that term, but I think that's why this collective would feel a little bit stuck, is because you're still stripping away the layers. Okay, you're still stripping away that old you. You're stripping it down still, and that's a process. That's definitely a process. To strip down is a process, and for this collective, I do think that you need to just understand that processes take time, and it's going to take time, but you are doing it, and you are getting there, and you are reaching your goal. But it is time that it takes, and it takes time, and it will always take time. That's just the nature of the beast. Okay, but the good thing is that you've got heart opening, Mama Cacao and Rhodonite, heightened sensitivity, unifying, high on love. Okay, so as you're in this stuck space and you're working to transition, okay, this might also be why it's, again, check those chakras. Where's your aura, right? Because the more you clear out the chakras, the more you make sure your energy is centered within your chakras are balanced, the more that you're in tune with where your energy is in relation to your physical body, so where your aura is in relation to your physical body, you're going to also realize how easy it is to open up this heart space. Okay, and your heart space, your heart chakra in particular, helps to connect what I call your upper chakras to your lower chakras. So you've got 3 grounding chakras. Okay, that's your root, your sacral, your solar plexus. Then you've got your heart chakra, and then you've got your 3 what I call upper chakras or air-based chakras, and those chakras are your throat, your third eye, and your crown chakra. And your heart helps to connect between those 2 planes. Right, your heart chakra connects. So the more that you ensure that your heart chakra is cleared and open and able to have that connection go all the way from the ground all the way up, right, to your crown, to the top of the head and above, the more that you're going to be able to control the energy, the more that you're going to be able to direct that energy into what it is you want to go, where it is you want to go, what it is you want to go. That's interesting wording. Then have turquoise and forget-me-not, balance. Adding balance into your life, cracking open deep healing and balancing karma. Balancing karma. Remember, for those of you who resonated with those karmic connections that I mentioned earlier, balancing that karmic out here, right? Some of you also have the forget-me-not. Okay. The forget-me-not is giving me this energy for this collective that there is a group of you who are going to see this, who really struggle with feeling like you're going to leave this earth without a legacy, right? Being forgotten by your family, your friends, your loved ones, right? And there's a message here of that's not going to happen. Because you're not going to allow it to happen. You're not a victim of your circumstance. You're not a victim of the energy. You're not a victim of your situation. You can make a decision to change that circumstance, to change that situation at any given time. You just need to understand the level of power that you've got. You just need to change your mindset and understand the level of power you've got. You need to believe in yourself more. And that's why this healing process is taking place. That's why this inner child healing, that's why you've got this stuck feeling energy. That's why this heart opening, that's why this is all taking place. Okay? That's why it's all coming so slowly, or it feels like it's coming super slowly. There's also a message here that's coming through of there's going to be a time where you're going to realize that things happened exactly when they were meant to happen, and you're going to look back on your life and you're going to wonder why you thought that that was taking so long anyways, because that really was just a blip in your life. But you just need to hold that energy. You just need to keep that faith. You just need to trust yourself, right? And direct that energy into where it is you want to go. Direct your intention into where it is you want to go and take action. It's never enough to just sit down and say, okay, I'm focusing, and then going and doing everything the exact same way you've always been doing it. I think there's a quote like that actually, by, I think it's attributed to Einstein, where it goes something along the lines of doing the same thing over and over and again is and expecting a different result is indicative of lunacy. I changed the phrasing of it, but it's something along those lines of lunacy is the idea of doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting a different result when you do it, right? Just because you sit and you have, okay, I'm going to meditate for half an hour, 30 minutes every single morning. I'm going to wake up early, I'm going to do it. But then you're not taking action. You're not changing anything. You're not moving towards anything about what it is you're meditating on. Then it's not going to come to fruition, because just the meditation is not enough. You need to then take the action for it to fully be encompassed, for it to fully come together. I was told to pick one last card, and then that was the end of the reading. And I think that this is a beautiful card to be the last card. It's Pearl and Larimar. Let go. Surrender, release, patterns and triggers, Pleiades. Okay, this is the card. I really like this card because Larimar is a stone that I love. I love the stone Larimar. It's one of my favorite stones. I just love the energy of it, and I think it's just a beautiful stone. And I love that this is where we're ending it. Let go. Surrender. Release. Where is it that you're trying to control so much? What is it that you're trying to control so much? Where is it that you are forcing things to occur? And there's a difference between working towards something and forcing something. You can work towards something and go, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. But when it starts losing its shine, as they say, when it starts losing its glamour, that's when you're starting to force things. That's when you're doing something that it's not quite meant to do that. It's not quite meant to be what it is you're supposed to be doing. There's something there that you're missing, right? There's a step there that you're missing, or you're trying too hard to hold on to something, a project in that specific way. Let me give you another example. I know I've been giving a lot of examples in this reading compared to past readings, but hear me out. I've been working on a book, and that book hopefully is going to be published this year. Fingers crossed. Please, please, please. And I lost the manuscript for the book, and I have been able to recover a section of it, but a good portion of that manuscript I have lost. And since I've lost that manuscript, I've also had these downloads, writings that come of, oh, I want to change this. I want to change the title. Oh, I'm going to add this whole section to the front of the book that I wasn't otherwise going to add. Oh, I want to add this. Oh, I want to add these quotes in, and I'm going to take these quotes out. Oh, I want to make sure that this is added in, and I'm going to actually remove this section that was at the beginning. And sometimes, you know, and I'm guilty of this too. I was distraught for weeks. I was so stressed out because I have a deadline in my brain of when I want this book published this year. I have a date that I want this book to be released on. And that date has a very specific significance to me as well. I have a date that I want this book to be published and released on. And I thought about that, and then of course I lose the manuscript. Right? I lose the manuscript. I'm telling my illustrator how I want the cover to be, and then I lose the manuscript. Right? And now I'm super stressed out because that's hundreds of pages of a memoir that was very, very emotional for me to write, of an experience that was quite traumatic for me to go through, that I wrote the book about. And it's gone. And I was only able to bring back, for the longest time, only a certain portion of it. So I started rewriting sections of it. And I've got all those notes off to the side here that I need to incorporate. 2 days ago, no joke, 2 days ago, I went onto my external hard drive. I had given it to an IT guy that I know to try to fix my external hard drive to see if that copy of the book, of the manuscript, is on my external hard drive. So my external hard drive was saying it was corrupted. He fixed it, whatever IT stuff that he did to fix it. So he gave me the external hard drive back. I plug it into my computer, and lo and behold, I find the manuscript on that external hard drive. The full, almost the full manuscript. Not the edited version of the manuscript, but almost the full manuscript. Now, if I hadn't lost the manuscript in the first place, and if it hadn't been for so many weeks, and if I hadn't just gone ahead and given the illustrator, okay, you're going to do this anyways, I will figure out this manuscript situation, and you're going to do this work anyways for me, please and thank you, about the cover. I still need that cover, and I still need it in these dimensions. Please do that. And if I hadn't had those downloads of, I want to change the title and I want to change this, I would have held on to that version of the manuscript so hard that this version that I'm going to hopefully be able to publish and hopefully meet my deadline that I've set for myself, that is going to end up being better, would never have come to be, because I would have never had those downloads, because I would have been so set on the old version of the manuscript that I was refusing to let go of. So sometimes we need to look at things. This is what I'm trying to get at. Sometimes we need to look at things, and we need to look at situations, and we need to look at what's happening. We need to see them from a different angle and understand that sometimes things happen because we were holding too tightly onto something. Okay? For me, it was the manuscript of my book, right? I spent 5 years plus working on this book. Of course, I'm dedicated to the book. Of course, I'm dedicated. I've spent so much time, emotional energy in this book. And the losing of the manuscript, I had a moment where I was like, well, I'm not going to publish the book. And then I thought to myself, no, that's ridiculous. You spent 5 years on this. You're going to make it work. So I contacted an illustrator who happens to be a family member of mine. I said, I need you to do this, and I need it to be ready by this date. Can you make it happen? And she went, yeah, I think so. I'll let you know if I can't. Okay, can you give me a week's notice? I'll give you a minimum of a week's notice if I can't make that deadline. And that's what we need to understand. Sometimes we need to just stop holding on to things so hard and just understand that it's time to let it go. It doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means that once you let that thing go, once I let go this image of what this book was going to be and how it was going to be written, how it was going to be set up, and all the things, and once I let go that expectation that I had put, that limitation I had put on myself, all of a sudden I had all these creative insights of all these added addendums that I wanted to do. And I all of a sudden knew what I wanted the cover to look like. And all of a sudden I knew what I wanted the title to be. And all of a sudden I knew how I wanted the imagery on it to be for the cover and why it was going to be that way. Instead of holding on to this old version, this old vision that I had that no longer resonated with the way I had set up and was going to set up the book. So let that go. Let it go. The thing that you're holding on to, that you're trying to control so hard, the biggest thing you can do is to let it go. Because in the letting go is where that creativity and that inspiration and that insight is going to come from. And you're going to realize that you never really let it go in the first place, actually. You just needed to see it from a different light. I'm going to leave that there. Long reading, a lot of stories, very few cards, but I hope that this collective found the message that they were looking for. And even the messages that they weren't, and the advice and the guidance that they were looking for, and even maybe the advice and guidance that they want. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.